Okay, y'all, I'm just going to jump into the next review because it is what it is. Okay, Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, A Carol for Two premiered starring Gina, Claire Mason, and Jordan Litz. Okay, you guys know Gina from A Holiday Spectacular. I think that was her first official breakout role on Hallmark, which we loved. And then she was in last year's A Heidelberg Christmas, where she had to go over to Germany to sell to learn her heritage and then sell some ornaments. Generally, her movies have been pretty good. This was not it for me. I'm giving A Carol for Two a 6 out of 10. Okay, so I told Megan, like I said, she hasn't watched any of these movies yet, and I let her know that one of these movies is a sort of like a musical. Here's my thing. I'm not a big musical person, neither is Megan. So unless it's going to be something like Hamilton, okay, or Wicked, where you feel that music in your soul and your bones, it's going to be a no for us, okay? I love Gina. I think Jordan is adorable, but this was just a complete miss for me. And as a matter of fact, it tried to give old Hollywood feel like an old Hollywood feel when we're currently in 2024, because once they reference Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, I'm like, oh, we are in 2024. This is not like, I don't know, like the 1950s again. I just didn't know what was happening here. So while I like Gina, this movie was a miss. Now, let me tell you, the singing, it was okay, but a whole damn musical of Christmas music, the vocals were mediocre. They were okay. What's really weird is you guys had Jordan Fisher, which I just watched an episode of Bones, where he is in some sort of like glee club in college. He plays somebody in there, and he is like the head director for that club. And oh no, he got kicked out of the club, I think. Anyway, this was a recent episode of Bones. I'm still watching Bones. I'm on season 11 out of 12. Okay, so I learned that Jordan has an amazing voice. We do know from this, the movies To All the Boys I've Loved, he can act. And you guys stuck him with that BS from last week. He could have been in this singing the most, like bringing us to our knees, to tears. Instead, this was lackluster. This was mediocre. This was not good. And as a matter of fact, when I figured out it was like a musical, because I'm saying because it's Hallmark, I wanted to turn off the TV so bad. I was just like, I can't get through it, because it's not going to be like a Hamilton that's going to have me in tears. And I know the expectations for something being like Hamilton or Wicked is just those kind of Broadway plays. I know that's high expectations, and this is just Hallmark. Here's my thing with Hallmark and singing. Don't put nobody on here that is not about to sing. That means even if you have a decent voice, these two, Christmas music is not it. Maybe putting them in another movie where they sing some vocals, maybe some backup vocals, but it wasn't it. And it wasn't that I thought the singing was terrible. It was that I thought it was cheesy. It didn't come along with any kind of feel. And we're used to Gina delivering movies that gives us some sort of feel. I still remember in A Heidelberg Christmas wondering, why did she not pay for the most expensive shipping for a reputable company than shipping these handmade ornaments by some bogus shipping company ain't nobody ever heard of? So I still remember that folks at Hallmark, that's feeling. When you still remember a movie, you still remember something happened, that is feeling, babe. This did not give me feeling. All right, let's get into the premise. Violet leaves some podunk town, and she is supposed to be starring in some sort of play in New York City. She gets to New York City because she doesn't have an agent. She didn't find out that because of some sort of budgeting issue, the play is not going to go on. She doesn't want to go back to the podunk town. She's got to figure out what she's going to do. She's in this big city, New York, and she wants experience. What does she do? She looks up her auntie's best friend who has some sort of singing restaurant type of thing, and she becomes a waitress, a singing waitress on there. Well, since it's the Christmas season, all they're singing are Christmas songs. Okay. So, and by the way, she sang my favorite Christmas carol, which is Oh Holy Night. And she didn't do a bad job, but I'm used to when Mariah Carey brings you to your knees. Fall on your knees. Like, I want to feel it in my gut. And I did not. Okay, I'm not a singer, so I'm just saying this, right? It was okay. It was okay, and maybe that's why I'm even a little harder on this movie, because there were certain carols in there that I'm a huge fan of, and I was just like, let's get through it. Let's get through it. So I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. So, okay, back to Violet. Sorry, I'm all over the place like this musical was. She becomes a singing waitress. People are immediately calling nepotism because she's able to sing the first night or the second night that she's working there. Usually you have to wait tables for a minute before you get a chance to sing. But the minute Violet opens up her mouth, they're like, this lady's talented. We understand why she's up there singing. It's great. While all the singing waiters and waitresses are working, they're also auditioning. One of Violet's friends gets into a play. She's going to go on the road. And Violet's like, why not me? Well, why not you? Because you got to New York 5 minutes ago, babe. Yeah. And you're already singing at Auntie's BFF's restaurant, okay, without waiting enough tables. Anyway, as Violet struggles to be a singing waitress, Alex also works there, and at first he doesn't even like the scent of her. But then he gets into it. He realizes she's really a good person. He tries to help her become a better waitress, which thank goodness, right? Because nobody wants a bad waitress. And so, while he decides at first he doesn't like her, and then he's like, she's very friendly and she's cute. Meanwhile, his nasty little cousin named Brad. Okay, so whenever they give us Brads or Chads on Hallmark, they usually gonna be a piece of shit. They're gonna be some podunk. They're gonna be crap. Right? Okay, so Brad immediately sees Violet. He wants her, but he knows if he's his same disgusting self, then she's not gonna be attracted to him. So he asks Alex, to help him get this girl. Alex starts to feed him information so that Brad can take on a different personality and get Violet. Now, how Alex doesn't see that there's an issue with this, if your cousin, who is sleeping on your couch, by the way, because he's just not stable, if he can't get the girl off of his own personality, then he doesn't deserve the girl. Do you think you're going to be able to go through the entire relationship without them? And I think at some point he gets uncomfortable, but he gets uncomfortable not just because he's feeding Brad all this information, but because he's starting to fall for Violet himself. Turns out he's very attentive, a good listener, and would be an excellent match for Violet. We see that as their friendship grows. But then there's his nasty little cousin named Brad. Megan is not going to be happy about Brad when she watches this movie. We barely recovered from Chad last year, from that Miracles of Christmas movie, the My Christmas Guide. That the guy that played Chad over there, we barely recovered from him. We thought that was the worst boyfriend. I still think he's the worst boyfriend ever on Hallmark, but Brad was giving Chad a run for his money. So now, Violet is trying to figure out if she really likes Brad. She finally realizes Brad ain't it, breaks up with him. Her and Alex are doing a final duet on Christmas Eve. It's supposed to be a big thing. There's going to be a big producer there. But that's the same evening that Violet finds out that she was betrayed by Alex and that Alex has been lying to her and then pawning off his nasty little cousin, who he says is a good man. I don't know what your standards are, but if he's going to be lying from the beginning of the relationship and all the way through it, that's not a good man, baby. That's a clown dressed up as a man. Okay, so Violet is very hurt. She can't go on with the performance. They blow their moment. Alex is really hurt. He realized he hurt somebody he now loves. It's all a damn mess, okay? Finally, they figure things out. They get to do their duet on Christmas Day in front of a producer. It seems to go well. Violet forgives Alex. They're in love. Bada boom, bada bing, and it's over. I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Okay? Hallmark, just stay away from the musicals. If you're not getting somebody who can sang from their soul, then let's just stay away from it. It's giving lackluster. It's giving mediocre. And I am someone that I'm not a huge fan of Christmas. So when I say that there are certain Christmas carols that I love and they're deep in my soul and all this good stuff, I really mean it. Anyway, A Carol for Two. If you're bored enough to sit and watch this and you don't mind a lackluster musical, you can go ahead and tune in. No offense to Jordan and Gina. Gina, I've seen your work before. I know you're an amazing person. This just wasn't it for me, guys, and I needed to free myself from this. It is deleted from my DVR. On to the next review.